Hello, folks. Welcome back to Never on the Back Foot. Two live streams in 2 days. Well, that's how Indian cricket fans have been treated too, right? We have seen back to back retirements. One was obviously of Rohit Sharma on 7th May, then we saw Virat Kohli's on 12th May. However, tonight's discussion is about Rohit Sharma, the man, the myth, probably the unfulfilled legend in Test cricket. And I have Zuili joining me. She's obviously one of the more prominent fans of Rohit Sharma. I'm not sure if she wanted me to share that, but then I couldn't think of anyone better to, kind of just commemorate the kind of career that Rohit Sharma has had. So, Zuili, let's start off with your first thoughts on the retirement itself. Did it come as a bit of a shocker? I mean, as a fan, you must be feeling a lot of emotions. Have you managed to observe and put it all in perspective?
Neha, very well asked actually. Have you able to process this? Because we were rejoicing that finally Rohit Sharma has found form in his IPL career, in his IPL cricket this season, three half centuries to his name. I think 1st of May, third half century he scored. And then in a few days' time, 7th of May, what happens? He announces his retirement from Test cricket. Uh, well, to be honest, I would say that it was quite expected, especially after what happened in Australia during the Border Gavaskar Trophy. And just before that, when we had the home series, when we hosted Bangladesh and New Zealand, he did not have the best of form in those three series cumulatively, if you look at. So I wouldn't be wrong, or perhaps to be very honest, it was on the cards that the retirement would be announced, but not in this manner. Probably I thought that he would retire on field. Maybe during one of the matches, he would call it curtains in his test career, but that didn't happen. And he was perhaps the best judge. Maybe he thought that it was time for him to, call it quits from the format. I think which even he and most of us love watching as cricket fans, as cricket organizers, the test cricket. Uh, Honestly, very disappointed to see that Rohit Sharma will no longer be representing India in whites. He'll no longer be the test captain. He'll no longer open the batting for India in test. But somewhere I feel that I'm a bit lucky compared to others because I got a chance to see Rohit Sharma in whites, not in India whites, but in Mumbai whites for one last time in the month of January when I was doing commentary for the Mumbai and Jammu Kashmir Ranji Trophy match. So that was the last time we could see him in whites, although Mumbai whites though. But I think, yeah, that is the last memory that we have of him. But a celebrated career, 67 test matches to his name. And if you see the numbers, perhaps the numbers don't justify the kind of talent Rohit Sharma possesses. And I think, like me, most of us could agree, or maybe wouldn't agree, that the numbers they do not justify his talent. But there's no doubt that there was a lot of talent in this cricketer, and still plenty of cricket is left because he has said and he has been very explicit that I'll be playing the ODI Cricket World Cup, which will happen in the year 2027. Mind you, he'll be almost 40 by then. He is 38 right now, but he has said that he wants to play that. And that's the only ICC trophy that is still missing from Rohit Sharma's cabinet. And how Sachin played his final World Cup, that the Swan Song 2011. He won the World Cup. You never know. Rohit Sharma captaining India, playing the 2027 ODI World Cup. He could win it for us again.
I mean, that's very optimistic, Zuili. And I think as fans, we will keep our fingers crossed that the likes of, Virat and Rohit kind of continue playing till then. But before we actually talk a little more about like Rohit Sharma, his legacy, his career at large, what also came as shockwaves was within 5 days we saw even Virat Kohli hang up his boots, right? It was very, very surprising. In fact, if you just see last night's live stream, both me and Rishabh were just entirely shocked. So for you, like again, did you have time to like think about Virat's retirement and what it just means?
Actually, the emotions that I went through were close to the names, that we associate with these two. Roko, अरे कोई तो roko इनको, Rohit Kohli retirement. What is happening? So it was really a shocker for me as we were discussing off record as well, Neha, that Rohit Sharma, yes, maybe expected retirement so soon as when he's 38. But Virat Kohli, 36 years of age, he'll turn 37 this year in November. But at least another 2 years, I feel, were in store for Virat Kohli, and of course the 10,000 run mark that we all were looking forward that Virat Kohli would become yet another Indian batter to score 10,000 test runs. maybe 35 test centuries, and which will inch him closer to the 100 centuries mark in international career. But that didn't happen. A shocker again. And Indian cricket is going to miss these two players big time, especially given the fact that we'll be touring England just in a month's time, and it will be a very hard fought test, given the fact that these two senior players, the veterans of Test cricket, will not be around. Imagine who could open the batting for India, we don't know. Who could come in at number four, we still don't know. And just a month to go for the all important England series, which will also be the first series of the new World Test Championship cycle.
Yeah, and I was probably going to come to this point anyway, but Ajendra in the chat goes on to ask us, who do you think should lead India next in test matches specifically? I think this is the billion-dollar question. I think all over, I think social media, just, media as such, there is so much speculation that, you have the likes of Shubman Gill who could step in, Rishabh Pant, people feel Jasprit Bumrah deserves it. Again, really, have you had time to just wrap your head around so many replacements, but one name that's really striking out for you?
A very good question, actually, by Ajendra Singh, and a very prominent one, especially with the fact that Rohit Sharma, when he called it quits on his Test cricket, the next question you are asking, perhaps not the question that who will open the batting for India. We have multiple options, but who will be the captain of the Indian Test cricket team? And that is one of the biggest questions, a big ticket question. And if you ask me, as you threw some names, Jasprit Bumrah, he could be a likely candidate given the fact that he has been the deputy of Rohit Sharma for quite some time. But we know that in Test cricket, especially the longer format, it is difficult for a bowler to be the captain. Yes, we have Pat Cummins from Australia. Fitness issues again could be a concern if Jasprit Bumrah could make as the captain of Indian team. But if you ask me, I feel that Shubman Gill could be the choice that the BCCI and the team management would go through. And these are some of the reports also that we have read in the newspaper or in the online media that Shubman Gill could be the likely candidate. Yes, we know that his test numbers so far do not justify that he can be the captain of the Indian test cricket team. The batting average are not so impressive of Gill. But if you look at his overall career, be it the ODI format or the T20 cricket, he has been an exceptional cricketer. And given the fact that the way he has been leading Gujarat Titans also in this IPL so far, I know it is a very small sample size, but when you are leading a champion team, it is not easy, and the way he has been managing his troops, it has been phenomenal. And I think in one of the articles that I had read, Shubman Gill explicitly spoke that he is not the one who will go and talk to other players. But after he started donning the hat of a captain of Gujarat Titans, he made an effort to go to the other players, put his arm around their shoulders, talk to them, maybe talk to Ishan Sharma, Mohammad Siraj, etc. So he has developed and improved himself not only as a cricketer but also as a captain. So I feel that Shubman Gill could be the choice, and given the fact that has another, say, at least 15 years of cricket left with him, I think 12 to 15, we would say, he could be a likely candidate to be the captain of Indian Test team.
Fair enough, and I think just thrusting responsibility like this in Shubman Gill's hands might be the right direction for India. Right, heading into a new World Test Championship cycle, you would want to give it to someone who you think can actually carry the burden of being India captain as well. But I think there's like a small section of the media that feels Rohit Sharma didn't go on to achieve as much as he should have in Test cricket. But let's start right from the beginning, Zuili. I mean, Rohit Sharma was going to make his Test debut way back in 2010. An unfortunate freak injury happens, and the rest, as they say, is history, right? He gets to make his debut much later. Do you personally think that his test trajectory would have been entirely different had he made his debut back then? Or are you the kind of person who just doesn't want to, get into that sort of the what ifs and the hypotheticals?
Near usually, as they say, that whatever happens happens for a reason, and the reason is always good. But on a lighter note, if you get the opportunity to ask Rohit Sharma which is your most disliked sport, I think he would say football, because while playing football during the warm up, 2010 Nagpur, that freak injury happened. He could not make his debut. Vridhiman Saha got the opportunity, and he had to wait for 3 long years to make his international test debut. It all happened in 2013, one of his favorite venues, Eden Gardens, Kolkata. But yes, things could have been different. But I think that if you see that period of Rohit Sharma's career as well, 2010, 2009, 2008, yes, he had the 2007 T20 World Cup success under his belt. But what happened after that is Not so great from Rohit Sharma's perspective. Not too many runs under his belt. 2008, 2009, across formats in ODIs and in T20s. He had made his ODI debut as well. He had made his T20 debut. Of course, he played the 2007 T20 World Cup that happened in South Africa, the inaugural one. He was a part of the champion team, but then somehow the runs were not coming. He was batting at number 5, 6, 7, whatever was his position then. And also 2011, when it was expected that Rohit Sharma could make a part of the Indian squad for the Cricket World Cup that happened in India, which India later went on to win. For some reason, Mahendra Singh Dhoni chose to pick up Piyush Chawla ahead of Rohit Sharma. So somehow, when the timing is not right, nothing seems to go your way. And something similar happened with Rohit Sharma, I feel. But when he got his opportunity, say 3 years later, and 2011, I think it was one of the best years of his career. He scored tons of runs in 2011. 12 was also good, and then of course in 13, the Test debut happened for him. But again, you would have expected him to open the batting as soon as he made his debut, but that didn't happen. He had to wait for a long time, for 6 long years, and he was constantly knocking at the door that yes, I'm an opener. Please allow me to open the batting. But that never happened till 2019 when he finally opened the batting for India. But yes, again, I feel that the trajectory, if you see in hindsight, you would feel yes, he would have gotten 3 extra years of Test cricket. Perhaps he would have played close to 100 Test matches. Today we see he has played 67. A player of caliber of Rohit Sharma playing just 67 Test matches. On the other hand, Kohli playing almost twice the number of matches than Rohit Sharma. So yes, I think things could have been different. Numbers would have been better. But rest is history now. What we can say from Rohit Sharma's perspective. But overall, if you see it, it was a good career from Rohit Sharma. If you see his Test numbers, more than 4,300 runs, 12 centuries also to his name, highest of 212. So I think he perhaps again I would repeat that the numbers don't do justice to his talent, but we all enjoyed watching Rohit Sharma bat the way he did, especially because after that Virender Sehwag era, when he used to give blazing starts to the Indian team, he used to go hammer and tongs from ball one. India had to wait for quite some time to have another opener who could, just throw kitchen sink at anything and everything that came his way. But yes, I think we'll miss those starts that Rohit Sharma used to give us in whites.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one for whoever, kind of fills in his shoe as well, right? Next, coming in next. But let's talk about when he actually made his debut in 2013. The years like spanning 2010, 2011, probably even a little bit of 2012 was tricky for him. He was not in the best of, patches when it came to producing those kind of runs for India. But really, what do you remember specifically from his Test debut in 2013? I mean, what a great start to his career. Finally, the man got the platform and he absolutely delivered, right?
Absolutely. I think scoring a century on your Test debut is itself a dream start to your Test career. And that again didn't happen at top of the order. He came into bat at number 6 in that very match, Eden Gardens, Kolkata versus West Indies. And India, I think in that match, they were in a very comfortable position. And yes, Neha, if you remember correctly, the year was 2013, and if I'm not mistaken, now all eyes were on Sachin Tendulkar because he was inching closer to his 200th test. So that West Indies series, which was scheduled, so the first match was the 199th test match of Sachin. The second match, which was supposed to be played in Mumbai, the farewell test match of the Master Blaster, the Bharat Ratna, Sachin Tendulkar. So all eyes were on the other Mumbaikar. But then, quietly, this other Mumbaikar, he stole the limelight, scoring 177 on his test debut, second highest score by an Indian on a test debut after Shikhar Dhawan, with whom he has batted a lot in the ODI format. Shikhar Dhawan scored 187 on his test debut, Rohit Sharma 177, and what a blazing innings that was. And if you recall that test match, Neha, I was just going through the scorecard because yes, you remember the innings, but then you don't remember exactly what happened in that match. So India, they were in a very comfortable position. West Indies, they had scored 205. India, in reply in the second innings, they were 410 for 4 when Rohit Sharma came out to bat, which means India had a safe, secure, healthy lead of 205. So imagine you walk to bat, you are an aggressive player, you have 205 runs in the bank. What is the first thing that comes to your mind? I'll just start hitting from ball one. But that didn't happen. Rohit Sharma played a patient knock, uh, the typical test innings that we saw from him. And what an innings that was! I feel just a testament to his character, to his patience. And finally, when he got the opportunity, he delivered at any position, but he delivered.
I mean, he couldn't have asked for a better start to his test career, and I think we are very privileged, to have seen that sort of a knock because usually on debut, most of the players are very nervy. You don't see them put in their best sort of a performance, but Rohit Sharma, much against popular opinion, just managed to put in that sort of a knock and kind of just embed that knock in all of our heads as well. But Zuili, I think this is a very tough question I'm going to ask you. But if you had to actually think of probably some of his best innings, from his Test career so far, do you have any special picks for this one?
It's a tough one actually because 12 centuries, as we spoke about earlier, highest score of 212, add to it 18 half centuries. So, yes, this man has achieved some milestones in his short but celebrated test career, averaging close to 41. But if I had to pick a few innings, maybe the first one that I would rate, maybe quite unpopular of them all, it will be the century that he scored against Sri Lanka in Nagpur. Now, why I say Nagpur? Again, let's go back to 2010. What happened? He was supposed to make his test debut, but that didn't happen. Fast forward 7 years later, 2017, against Sri Lanka in Nagpur, he scores a century, an unbeaten innings of 102, which came off just 160 balls. So you can imagine the kind of strike rate with which Rohit Sharma was batting. And just on a lighter note, we all remember what KL Rahul did, right, in Bengaluru after that match-winning innings of his, the Kantara celebration. Thank goodness Kantara was not released back then. Otherwise, Rohit Sharma would have got the opportunity. Why I'm saying this because Nagpur is the birthplace of Rohit Sharma, and he supposed to make his Test debut. That didn't happen, but after 7 years, he got an opportunity to score a century in that very venue. And perhaps just before the match, I'm sure when the warm up was taking place, he never played football, I believe, because he didn't want to miss that test match. I think that is one of the innings that was one of the best, and of course the best score of 212, which he scored in Ranchi. It was against South Africa, and what a series that was! I think perhaps the turning point of his Test career. 2019, India hosted South Africa for a three-match Test series. The first match was played in Vizag, where he scored twin centuries. And interestingly, Neha, he's the last Indian to score twin centuries in Test cricket. So after 2019, no Indian batter in Test cricket has scored twin centuries, meaning two centuries in two innings of the Test match. So that was quite interesting. And that was also the first series when he started opening the batting for India. So debut match, he scores a century. Say as a debut opener in Test cricket, he scores twin centuries. And of course, that third Test match when he scored 212, his highest Test scores. I think that South Africa series simply redefined his Test career. I feel the best year 2019 for him from the Test perspective. Couple of centuries, then a double century, and definitely the player of the series when India simply thrashed South Africa in their own backyard.
Yeah, I mean, now that you bring up these special knocks, it really puts things in perspective and how much Rohit Sharma really had to work hard, right? Because for some players to kind of replicate that white ball success to red ball becomes like a massive uphill task. But I think the way Rohit Sharma was doing it during that period of 2019, I'm glad you brought that up. It I think really just sort of set him apart. So Zuili, when the whole problem was happening in Indian cricket, like Virat Kohli, relinquishing his Test captaincy, I think the think tank and everyone felt the next best alternative has to be Rohit Sharma because he is definitely a part of the leadership group. He brings in that sort of experience as well. So how do you look at Rohit Sharma, the Test captain, and the time at which he took up captaincy?
I think Rohit Sharma himself would not have expected that he would have been given this leadership opportunity because usually you do not replace a test captain who's a year younger to you. So after Dhoni, Virat Kohli became the captain who is almost 7 8 years younger to Dhoni. And imagine after Kohli who becomes the captain who's few months elder than him. So I think it was quite unexpected for him. 2021 first series that he took over as the captain of Indian Test team was against Sri Lanka. Relatively easy series we would say because we were playing at home against Sri Lanka. 2-0 we beat Sri Lanka hands down. Rohit Sharma had a good series himself as a captain. But if you compare to Virat Kohli, they are their mindset is similar that they both want to go for the win. They don't look at draw. Both Kohli and Rohit Sharma, both of them want a result in a test. But then the kind of approach with which they approach the test cricket is very different. Rohit Sharma, we all know he's as cool as a cucumber, but on the other hand, Virat Kohli, we know that now he's cooled down a lot, but the kind of fire with which he captains the team, with which he bats, the kind of fire that he has in his eyes, it is altogether a different ball game. So these two players, similar approaches, mindset is same, but then the style of captaincy very different. And if you look at the numbers also, taking over from somebody like a Virat Kohli, who had a win percentage of almost 60%, he captained in 68 odd Test matches, winning 40 of them, and not only just winning in Indian conditions, but also in the overseas conditions, which was exemplary. Beating Australia in Australia, not an easy feat. So there's some such things happening under Virat Kohli's captaincy, and then taking over from him would not have been easy for Rohit Sharma. But then he tried his best. Around 24 Test matches in which he captained between 2021 and 2024, he won 12 of them. 50% success rate. You would take it any day. Passing marks, we would say, from a Test cricket's perspective. But yes, he had big shoes to fill of Virat Kohli. And if you look at the batting numbers also, some people tend to thrive when they are captain of the team. I think Virat Kohli, he thrived when he was the captain. He took the opportunity. He led from the front. But if you see Rohit Sharma, his batting average dropped when he became the captain of the Indian team. So overall, if you see, as just a player, as non-captain, he averaged upwards of 45. But when he took over the captaincy of Indian team, he averaged just 31. So I think we don't know whether he enjoyed captaining India or no. But yes, obviously, leading India in Test cricket is a dream for any cricketer. But the numbers do not suggest so.
But again, just elaborating a little on this captaincy aspect, I think one of the highest points was reaching the World Test Championship final, which India did end up losing to Australia, which a lot of fans are still very, hurt about. And even losing a Test series at home, right, versus New Zealand, his captaincy did come massively under the scanner. The team was not looking very confident, and probably the border Gavaskar. I'd call it massacre that just happened a few months back. Probably, just drove home that nail into the coffin that probably India will have to look at other options. So Zuili, again, these couple of discourses that were coming and like people pointing fingers at his leadership. Do you think it kind of just taints that leadership legacy a little bit?
Not being biased, Neha, towards Rohit Sharma, but I feel that a captain is as good as his team. So imagine in Virat Kohli era when he was the captain. Imagine the likes of Jasprit Bumrah not performing. Imagine the likes of Cheteshwar Pujara, Ajinkya Rahane not scoring runs. The results would have been different. And of course, Virat Kohli himself, if he was not scoring runs when he was the captain, the results would have been different. We would have been talking a different story right now. But unfortunately, what happened with Rohit Sharma is, I'm not denying that his captaincy was not questionable. Yes, at some stages it was. But when he was the captain, not many players were in the best of their form. Virat Kohli, the man on whom the entire nation relied the most, had a patchy, say, couple of years that we can think of, say, 22 to 24. Not the best of years in his Test cricket. Cheteshwar Pujara for a few series we did not have him. Ajinkya Rahane similar. Jasprit Bumrah was also on and off due to his injury. Mohammad Shami also. So the core that you expect in a test match, uh, either that wasn't there or they were not in form, and that is why the results were reflecting in that manner. So I feel the captaincy, yes, at some stages he could have taken better decisions because getting thrashed or just clean swept by New Zealand in your own conditions, no Indian fan will take it any day. And especially the kind of losses that we had to suffer in say 3 days or just under 4 days. So that was disappointing. If we would have given tough fight to somebody like a New Zealand, then it would have been acceptable. And also against Bangladesh, it was again a hard fought series. It was not quite easy breezy for us. So yes, and of course the border Gavaskar, the recent one, the first test he missed due to his second child's birth, but then in the last test also he decided to step down. So that those were the words that he used because he was not in the best of forms, scoring just 31 runs in three test matches. So his form personally as well as his and that is what happens right in cricket. If you are not batting well, that automatically reflects in your leadership as well and vice versa. If you're batting well, automatically the results are seen in your leadership. So I think things just didn't add up for Rohit Sharma.
And probably another criticism, Zuli, was about his fitness, right? A lot of people blatantly would just fat shame him. You could see the hate all across social media as well. So, as a fan yourself and someone who's just an onlooker, did you somewhere feel that fitness aspect was lacking somewhere? Or do you think, it's important to just look at the two in isolation and not, kind of draw a correlation to just drive a point home?
Um, it's a good question actually, Neha, and that makes you ponder, right? Because if say we are not body shaming anyone here, but if an unfit Rohit Sharma say scores centuries, would his fitness be would have been questioned? I don't think so. Unfit Rohit Sharma not scoring runs, that is where the fitness is being questioned, I feel. And interestingly, if we go back a few years, just comparing with one of the other players, did not play that much of cricket for India, but you must have heard his name, Ramesh Powar, right? The off spinner. He obviously we know that he was not so fit. And interesting headline in one of his interviews was in one of the premium newspapers is he had written, "I'm fat but fit." Something similar. So Rohit Sharma, we all know that in the last few years, the fitness issue was he was struggling with that. I feel, and the runs were also not coming. But yes, if you look at it, maybe something was not going right for him. Maybe the routine that he was following, or perhaps he was overstressed with something. We don't know what was wrong, but definitely the fitness was a concern, and that is why when we say that was it expected that will he retire from Test cricket, uh, the reason I say that it was quite expected is one of the other reasons is that his fitness would not have made him comfortable to last for the 5 days of Test matches. Standing in that heat, fielding for say 100 or 150 overs, and then coming into bat, that would have been difficult.
Definitely, and I think we can probably talk about the whole fitness aspect in another conversation as well. But Zuli, again, to just get your thoughts, like in the broader context of Indian cricket as well, like where do you rank Rohit Sharma, right, among your greats? Like you have the likes of Virat Kohli, Cheteshwar Pujara, Ajinkya Rahane, especially in the Test format. Where do you place Rohit Sharma?
Uh, if you would have asked me ODI cricket, it would have been very easy, right? Right at the top, master of ODI cricket. But yes, when it comes to Test, it would have been very difficult. Virat Kohli. So from the current crop of cricketers, obviously Virat Kohli ranks at number one. If you compare him to other players like Pujara, Ajinkya Rahane. So Rohit Sharma, unfortunately, will rank fourth, or you can say last among these four batters that you just named, right? So I would start with Kohli, Pujara, Rahane, and then Rohit Sharma, because we know that he 67 tests under his belt, and uh, Virat Kohli, on the other hand, if I have to just compare with him, he started as a top order batter itself in Test cricket. But Rohit Sharma from 2013 to 19 batted at number 5 or 6, and then after 2019 he started opening the batting. So you will have to look at his career from two perspectives: first as a middle order batter, and then as a top order batter, because the asks of these batting positions are different. You are coming into bat at number 6. What is your duty? You have to bat with the tail. You have to hold the innings together. You have to perhaps take the game deep. You have to bat time, as they say in Test cricket. But when you are opening the batting, it is exactly the opposite. You have to lay the foundation. You have to face the new ball, which is nice and hard, which comes onto the bat easily, nicely. You can score runs. So if Rohit Sharma would have opened the batting from 2013, perhaps he would have scored twice the number of runs that he has scored right now, which is 4,301. So perhaps we are looking at something at 8,000, and then we would have discussed Rohit Sharma as a Test cricketer, and then the story would have been something different.
But honestly, with Rohit Sharma, I just feel it's a case of unrealized potential, right? Because despite his success, flashes of brilliance here and there, Rohit Sharma was largely criticized for not being able to replicate, right, the white ball dominance onto Test cricket. Zuli, again, where do you stand on this? Do you think that the criticism was fair, or is it just important to probably separate the formats and look at it from that perspective? Because a lot of players can't do that so seamlessly. So, where do you stand in this argument?
I think you should look at it from different perspectives. I think one of the examples that comes across to my mind, and when you were asking this question, Neha, is that of Yuvraj Singh. Yuvraj Singh, as an ODI cricketer and a T20 cricketer, a different beast altogether, unmatched, unparalleled. But then, if you look at his Test career, again, you would say that he did not deliver to his potential. So I feel something similar you can relate with Rohit Sharma in ODI cricket. I don't think he's untouchable. You can say in ODI format, especially when he opens the batting for India. So yes, I think the numbers itself they draw criticism, and you would repeatedly say that the numbers don't justify his talent. And again, if the numbers would have been better, nobody would have questioned his credentials. But if you would have to look at it from a different perspective, he you know, as we were talking about Virender Sehwag also, right? Giving quick starts is important in Test cricket, and Rohit Sharma after Virender Sehwag did that job beautifully well. It is not easy to go out there, open the batting, face the new ball when the bowlers are fresh, and just be aggressive. But Rohit Sharma had the guts, had the courage, and on many occasions he has given fabulous starts to the Indian Test team. And I think that is what should stay with most of the fans after his retirement.
Yeah, I think that's very true. And another aspect that was running through my mind is because Rohit and Virat were like such giants. I mean, not were, are still giants in cricket. Probably there's a lot of comparison that happens in those times. So people just cannot, see them as individuals, but just end up comparing them a lot in that sense. But again, Suli, do you think it's fair on like either party to be just compared in that sense? Because the moment people, are always like, Virat has done so well, but Rohit didn't do that well. Like the whole comparison aspect comes in, right? I just think it leaves a very bad taste, right, in the mouth.
Absolutely, I think I agree with you on this. Why to compare it to people? They are two different individuals. They are taking responsibility of two different roles in the batting order. They are taking responsibility of two different things in the team as two players. One is captain, one is not. And before that, one was a captain, other was not. He was assisting him. So I think you should not compare them, but rather you should see how well they complement each other. Uh, why don't people recall the kind of partnerships that they forged for India over the years? Why don't people recall the partnerships that they stitched in, say, ODI cricket, or how many times have they bailed out Indian team from all sorts of trouble? I think you should. I think instead of comparing, you should just see them as two different individuals, and perhaps you should be a little disappointed that you would not be able to see now both of them. Now, whom will you compare? Now, both of them will not be there when India steps on to the English soil for the first time without these two players. So, I think that is when the fans will realize. And it is often said, right? You crave what you lose. Now the fans they have lost both the gems. Now they are badly going to crave that we'll be without Rohit, and we don't know whether the kind of attention that Test cricket drew when Virat Kohli was the captain, when people used to love Kohli bat or lead the team, or when Rohit used to give fabulous starts to the Indian team. Now we don't know whether the viewership for Test cricket will also be the same when these two players played.
Yeah, probably that's where all of this comparison and hate becomes fodder, right? For a lot of these fan armies to just put one player down, raise the other, and I'm sure the players themselves do not love this. They've probably been actively spoken about, like stop doing this comparison thing. But again, just I think it would be fair to say, right, that Rohit's Test career has had its own fair share of like challenges with respect to injuries. He's had a lot of form slumps, doubts about his place in the side itself. But Suni, like the way he just handled all of these challenges, right? What does it tell you about his character? Again, you can answer this from a fan perspective, an onlooker who's just watched the game for such a long period of time to sustain, right, for a good, what, 11, 12 years. It's just massive, no?
I think whatever we can sense from his body language, right, Neha, he is somebody who does not give a damn to whatever happens around him. He's like, I'm chill. I'll just be myself. I'll do whatever I feel is right. Because even if you see his Test retirement, the way he announced, again, we would have thought that maybe he would announce it on the field. But in the middle of IPL, nobody would have thought that he would do so. Another opportunity would have been after winning the Champions Trophy. He could have said that perhaps he's not playing Test cricket. There were multiple opportunities, like how he did after winning the T20 World Cup, that he said that he's calling it quits from T20 format. But very very unexpected, or in the manner in which he announced his retirement. So I don't think he's bogged down by whatever happens in and around him. It's just a noise for him, and he is blessed not only with his batting talent but with this innate ability to shut down all the noise that goes around. Because as you said, there are a lot of haters, and unfortunately, as we were talking about Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma, right? The comparison, what happens is you are a Virat Kohli fan, okay, just as an example. But for that, you don't have to be a Rohit Sharma hater. You can be a Virat Kohli fan, right? On an independent basis. And vice versa, if you're a Rohit Sharma fan, you don't have to be a Virat Kohli hater. So I think because of all these things, even the players, they have to hear whatnot on the social media. But I'm sure that they are now so matured and accustomed to. They just simply turn the Nelson's eye to whatever happens on the social media.
But that's probably also very reflective of how cricketers are treated in India, right? Almost given that sort of a demigod status, and fans just invariably end up pitting them against each other, which just creates a very toxic culture. Again, a conversation for another day. But really, when you just look back at Rohit Sharma, right, like what do you think he will be remembered for most in the test format? Do you think it's his elegance, the kind of leadership he brought in, his resilience? Obviously, the fiery starts is something that is right at the top of my mind. But again, have you given this a proper thought? Like, what do you think he'll be remembered most for in this format?
Mm, very tough one, actually. What he'll be remembered for? Uh, my heart says that he'll be remembered for his leadership. But again, there will be questions that the numbers don't justify the kind of leadership which was expected from him, winning 12 out of the 24 matches. So just a success rate of 50%. But why I say as a leader is because from the looks of it, he seems to be a people's man, and he seems to be a very approachable, reachable character. And youngsters or seniors alike, they are not afraid, or they are not hesitant to reach out to him with his ideas. Because if you would have seen on the field, when Rohit Sharma is the captain, Virat Kohli is not hesitant to go and talk to him. So the kind of rapport he not only has with his contemporaries but also with youngsters. So for instance, even the Shubman Gill can go to Rohit Sharma and give his suggestion. That is what something we saw closely when New Zealand toured India. So these people, they were talking to Rohit Sharma, and I think that is what makes him different. And uh, in one of the articles also I had read, I don't remember the player who mentioned, but even he had said that, who's a part of the Indian team, that Rohit Sharma is very approachable. You can just go in and meet him whenever you want. You can discuss things with him, and he has a good cricketing brain. His batting would tell you something else, that he's very effortless. Things seem to be very easy for him, but mind you, he has a great cricketing brain above his matured shoulders, and that is what I think he would be remembered for. And of course, his elegant, effortless, easy on the eye batting, and just makes cricket look so very easy.
Couldn't agree more there with you, Zuili. And I think you just encapsulated his, test legacy so nicely. In fact, for all the viewers joining in as well, you can probably catch up with the interview he did with Vimal Kumar, another brilliant one. It's an unfiltered 1 hour, 47-minute conversation. You won't even realize the passage of time. It's just, two friends sitting and having a chat about Rohit Sharma's career. Must watch. I think, Zuili, you will absolutely love it if you haven't already watched it. But let's again, oh, you've already watched it. Yeah. So I think most of your answers were probably coming from his school of thought and where he was reflecting from. But again, when we look at this retirement, I feel a lot of people are not probably digesting it now because we are probably in not the best phases. Geopolitically, the IPL has paused for a bit. We don't have Test cricket right now. But the retirement of Rohit Sharma is definitely going to leave a massive void, right? It's going to change the dynamic for India and Test cricket massively as well. So, Louis, we have already discussed who can potentially lead India and candidates who can. But if you had to think of a batter who can step up for India in his absence, we can't expect immediate results. But again, have you had a chance to think of who could some potential batters who can replace him up top there?
I think it is going to be easier if you look at from the opening perspective. You have to just move one position up, Mr. Gill, right? Bats at number three. He'll have to just come up, open the batting, along with Yashasvi Jaiswal, with whom he has been opening the batting. So I think that could be the obvious choice. Again, you will have the lefty-righty combination in place, and Gill predominantly is an opener. But just because Rohit Sharma was playing leading the team, he had to drop down just one position to number three. So I think Shubman Gill could be the likely candidate. though there are many options right now. If you see, KL Rahul could be another choice who has opened the batting for India in Test cricket in the past, but he has been the kind of a floater. He can bat at any order, be it T20 cricket or Test cricket. I feel sometimes bad for KL Rahul that he has not been given that designated batting position. That yes, Rahul, this is your batting position. But any which ways, so if you had to ask me, I think Shubman Gill could be the option who could open the batting. Then, but with the exclusion or the retirement of Rohit and Virat Kohli, I feel it opens doors of opportunities for multiple cricketers who have been banging on the doors of selectors that yes, we are there, we are playing domestic cricket, we are doing well. So it's time for us to join the Indian Test team back. Maybe likes of say Shreyas Iyer or KL Rahul, as we discussed earlier. Mayank Agarwal also has some cricket left behind him, but we don't know whether he'll be looked upon again. Hanuma Vihari, he has been missing somewhere. We don't know. Karun Nair, who had scored that brilliant triple century, but after that, what happened, we never know. So I think there are multiple players in the ranks if you had to look at from the batting perspective. And of course, there is still Cheteshwar Pujara around. Ajinkya Rahane is also there. So if you want, horses for courses, you can again go back to your veterans and just to replace these two senior pros, you can again bring in those senior players.
It's probably going to be a very interesting time for Team India and perhaps even for the think tank, right, to come up with that sort of a right replacement. At least from the looks of it, the GG era seems to be very focused on cultivating and giving a lot of chances to the youth, right? So you'll see probably a lot like fresh blooding of like youngsters into the team and people who have done well domestically. Like there will be some weightage given to domestic performances. So I mean, let's see how things pan out. But some very interesting shouts there. With Shubman Gill, I'm a little apprehensive that giving him captaincy and the opening slot at the same go might be a tad bit pressurizing for the young man. A lot of people feel he can be that number 4 slot, but again, that does come with the massive onus of filling in Virat Kohli's shoes. So either way, Shubman Gill has a tough journey ahead of him. But if cricket so far has taught him anything, we will see him probably put in those. Sort of performances as well. But Zuili, we are almost reaching, the end of our discussion as well. So I just have a few questions that, would probably elicit some emotion. But say you had a hypothetical chance, right, of talking to Rohit Sharma. If you had a chance to just ask him like one question about his test career, what would it be?
Hmm. Why are you saying hypothetical, yeah? You should at least pray that you get the opportunity to ask him. Any which ways, I think one question that I could ask him is maybe I would ask him that how did it feel when he finally got the opportunity to open the batting for Indian Test team finally after a long wait of I would say 9 years, not 6 years, because I just again date back into 2010 and not 2013. So I think that could be the question that how it finally felt on opening the batting for India in whites.
That's actually a fair question, and you might even actually end up getting a very honest answer from him. He's not someone who minces his words, unless the journalist is really trying to pry him and just get something out of him. So, great question there, really. 5 star from my side. And even if you had to probably think of Rohit Sharma's test career, right? If you want to like put a single frame to it in a highlight reel, what would that image be like? Do you have something when you think of Rohit Sharma and Whites, like this is the particular inning or a certain knock of his that really stands the test of time?
Hmm, I think I'll name that knock that he played in England, uh, 2021, I reckon. Yes, it was in 2021 England. He scored a century in that match, and it was, I think, the first match was a draw. I don't remember. It was a five-match test series. This match happened in Oval that I'm talking about, 2021. And why I like that innings is because, as we were speaking earlier about his liking towards England team, if you see the 4,301 runs that he has scored, more than 1,100 runs he has scored against England. So that is almost 25% of the runs, test runs against England against the same opposition. Also, he averages close to 48, 450s, 400s in that uh, stats, if you see. And that innings, I think, opening the batting that came. So it was very tricky. We all know that batting in England, opening the batting in those swinging conditions, windy conditions, it is not easy. He scored a century in that match. And interestingly, earlier in that year, 2021, when we were hosting England on that rank turner of a pitch in Chennai, Rohit had scored a century. You remember that match when Jack Leach, Joe Root, they were picking wickets for fun, four wickets apiece. I think we had made a rank turner, and Rohit Sharma playing best of his Test cricket on a turning track. I think so that was very pleasing. So I think both the centuries that he scored against England in 2021, I think those memories will always be fresh in my mind.
Absolutely. I mean, that was the time when Indian batters at large were struggling. Virat Kohli was going through his absolute, drought in test runs. So seeing knocks like this from Rohit Sharma was incredibly special. So I agree with you on that one. And last but not the least, Zuili, like if you actually had to describe Rohit Sharma's like test career in one word, what would that be for you?
Describing in one word is very difficult, actually, Neha. But yes, if I have to give you one word, I would say selfless. Maybe he never played for records. He retired when he has played 67 test matches, not as if I'll wait for 75 or I'll wait for 100 or I'll wait for that 5,000 run mark. He's just whenever he feels, I think he has called it quits. So I think selfless could be one word that defines him not only as a test cricketer but also as a character, also as an individual. And this is the word that we have been associating with him for a long time. I think since 2023 Cricket World Cup that we hosted, the kind of starts that he was giving. I know that is we are talking about the ODI format. The kind of starts he was giving in that first power play, scoring those quick fire 40 runs or 45 runs. So that is not easy, because when you are in a world when the cricket is so competitive, when many players are playing for records or for milestones, and when you have players around you who have scored twice the number of runs, you're almost attracted or you are encouraged to do that. But he is something different. I feel he's been very selfless in his cricketing career, and the decision also to call it quits has been very selfless from his side. And also the decision to when he stepped down from the fifth test that happened in Australia, it is not easy. You are the captain of the team. You know that you are a sure shot in the playing 11, but still, you were that selfless. You knew you were not in the best of form, so it is better to give youngster an opportunity in place of him. So I think selfless would be the best word that describes him.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant because sometimes as a captain, it takes a lot, right, to admit that you are actually going through a lean patch of form. But him actually taking that decision in that final test was massive. So I think selfless does describe it beautifully. And thank you for that, Sweetie. But I really thought, this discussion will go on for 1 hour, 1.5 hours, because there's just so much to talk about Rohit Sharma. But again, that's how his test career was. A lot of ups and downs. But do you have any last and like final thoughts, like anything for our viewers who've stuck around to watch us yap about Rohit Sharma and his test career?
When you said that it would go around for 1 hour, this discussion was as easy breezy as Rohit Sharma's batting, right? We have done our work, and now we can go and rest. So we have given good start. So I think last words I would feel is uh, being a Rohit Sharma fan myself. I think let's celebrate whatever he has done for the Indian Test team so far, whatever he has done as a captain, as a batter, and looking forward to see him in the blue jersey when he again plays ODI, and hopefully he stays by his words and he continues to remain fit till the 2027 Cricket World Cup. He continues to lead Team India, and probably that is going to be his swan song. So if he can get those hands around the coveted silverware, I think that could be the best, tribute or the celebration that we can have for Rohit Sharma. So honestly, it was an emotional moment that when he called it curtains on his career, because I've been a big fan of him, and as I was mentioning earlier in this discussion that when I had got the opportunity to do commentary for that Ranji Trophy match between Mumbai and Jammu Kashmir. So honestly, I had goosebumps when you have to do commentary or call action when your favorite cricketer is playing. In the first innings, he did not give me much opportunity to talk about his batting. He scored three odd runs, but then the very presence of him on the ground, gives you a lot of joy, gives you a lot of satisfaction. But in the second innings, he definitely did try, hit three sixes, two fours. Out of his 28 odd runs, 26 runs were scored in boundaries. So yes, I could, go all guns blazing myself when he was scoring those big shots. But yes, I think. Uh, as a fan, I would definitely miss his presence in whites for Indian team, and I'm sure, like me, there will be thousands and lakhs of others who would definitely miss this hitman Rohit Sharma.
Yeah, we will definitely miss Hitman Rohit Sharma in the test whites, but fortunate and privileged enough to still see him in ODIs, right? I think after that 2023 World Cup debacle, they would want to come back stronger for the 2027 edition. So let's see how that goes. And yeah, viewers, that pretty much does conclude our this discussion. Encapsulating and just capturing Rohit Sharma and his legacy. I'd like to thank you all for being strong with us through this stream and just sticking through, and to Zuili as well, who took time out of a very busy schedule to make it on this live. So thank you so much, Zuili. I could really see the passion and fandom that you have for Rohit Sharma and Test cricket at large coming through as well. And to all the viewers who are catching the stream later, don't forget to like, share, and just do your thing. Just subscribe. Let's ensure Never in the Backfoot reaches 1K subscribers. And you can check out Zuili and her work. Although she's not on socials, but she's a very famous person. You will find your ways. But that's all tonight. That's all for tonight, folks. Thank you so much. Good night, Zuili.
Good night, Neha. Thank you for having me.
Cheers.
Cheers.